What is up? I'm Sergeant Ballistic, but you guys can call me Brian. Thank you for checking out this video. Today we're going to look at the Xbox One Elite controller and specifically its customization features. When this was first announced at E3, I did a video on it because I thought it was very interesting. Microsoft was jumping in the ring with the likes of Scuff and Razer to join the pro/custom controller market. Fast forward a bit and I released an unboxing of this guy. I'll have that link somewhere for you guys to check out. In that video, I give you a detailed physical tour of the controller and all of its physical customization features. Today we're going to look at the software/firmware side of things, the button remapping, custom profiles, sensitivity settings, etc. to hopefully let you know if you want to pick this up when it finally comes back into stock. I'll have links to pricing and availability in the description, and also answer the question whether or not people who have bought this are idiots, considering you can now remap buttons on a standard controller on Xbox One. So let's take a look. So hopping into the Xbox accessories app with the Elite controller synced up, you can see we're presented with the controller. If you haven't already done so, I'll ask you to link the controller to a specific account. Here you can see it's already linked to mine and all of my save profiles are linked with it. If you pop down into the more options section, they've got a little thing there so you can get some help with the setup and some of the features of the controller. You can explore features with a bit of a slideshow. You should know all of this already if you've watched my previous two videos. But lastly, down here in this area, you can actually give it a name, as I have done. I named it the first thing that came to my head. You can give yours a more extravagant name like Great Odin's Sword or Andril or whatever pleases your dorky little heart. But hopping back out and into the configuration settings, you can see on the left you have the option of creating a new profile, looking at the currently set profiles saved on the two onboard configuration slots. Then below that you can check out all the configurations you've saved. You can actually save up to 250 per account, and they'll actually be synced to the cloud. So if you take your controller to a friend's house or a LAN, you can pull down all of your configurations for any game or mode you might like on either Xbox One or, as we'll see in a little bit, on a Windows 10 PC as well. You can then modify them, save them, and set them to one of your configuration slots onboard the controller and get to gaming. Every configuration you can name however you please. You can create multiple per game, perhaps one for driving or flying in GTA, and another completely different one for when you're on foot and want to shoot it out. If you're into shooters, maybe you can have one for multiplayer and a completely different one for when playing the campaign. You can see there's a lot of possibilities and flexibility here. 256 configurations means you don't have to worry about running out and can make a ton of minor changes and switch between them to see which one works best. Down at the bottom, you can see that there are also a lot of first-party configurations set up by the publishers and developers of different games for you to try out. Use it if you like it or modify it if you want to customize it. Taking a look at those options, we've got button mapping, the left stick, the right stick, triggers, vibration, and the Xbox button brightness. Finally, at the bottom, you can restore the defaults, so you can have a default one set up if you need it really quickly. Most of these are probably pretty self-explainable, but let's go deeper. Button remapping is pretty straightforward. You select any button on the controller in the drop down and select what you want it remapped to in the second drop down. Buttons that can be remapped on the Elite controller include the face buttons, shoulder buttons, triggers, thumbstick click-ins, all 4 D-pad directions, and of course the paddles on the back, which are one of the biggest selling points of the controller. The default and most obvious remapping of the paddles is to put each of the 4 face buttons on a different paddle so you can keep your right thumb on the right thumbstick and aim constantly while maintaining the ability to jump, boost around, and do any other type of maneuverings that the game allows. If you've ever found yourself in a situation where you like one of the button layouts in a game except for the position of one particular button, then you can remap just that, or you can go ham and completely remap everything to get your perfect layout. You can also remap the same button to multiple places, as opposed to just swapping the positions of different buttons to get something pretty close to what you want. Below the basic button remaps, you also have the options to swap the thumbsticks, invert either thumbstick separately, and swap the triggers. Moving on to the stick sensitivity options, you can change them individually per stick. There's 4 different presets which let you manipulate different parts of the curve that control the sensitivity and acceleration of the movement. With delay, you're effectively kind of increasing the dead zone of the thumbstick, so when you move it, the resulting input is delayed a bit. You can see they have this pretty cool way of visualizing the changes that this makes to give you an idea of what is happening. The red shows the computed input created by the curve, while the white is how much you're actually moving the thumbstick. Moving the little red slider on the preset increases or decreases the slope of the curve. So looking at some of the other ones, aggressive increases the attack of the thumbstick, meaning there's much less delay and more acceleration towards the outside of the thumbstick's range of motion. Instant makes the movement much more instantaneous and responsive. These all will have noticeably different effects in different games. In shooters on console, for example, sensitivity, acceleration, and aim assist often have completely different implementations. One great capability of having two onboard slots is that you can set the default curve for a thumbstick in one slot, then modify the curve and put it on the second slot and hot swap between them pretty easily in game to figure out which one you like best. Or you can get kind of the same functionality that you get on some mice, which have DPI changers or sniper mode buttons to lower your sensitivity when need be. The other thumbstick has the exact same option, so we're going to skip on to the trigger customization. This again helps you get the most out of one of the physical features, that being the trigger locks. These help you in games like shooters by reducing the travel of the trigger and giving them some bounce back to allow you to shoot, say, semi-automatic weapons as fast as their rate of fire allows. I actually thought there would be a huge downside to this. In Halo, the plasma caster has two different firing modes, one being quick fire, which is actually helped out by the trigger locks. The other one is done by pressing the trigger all of the way down, charging it, and then releasing a huge plasma grenade charge. This second firing mode wouldn't be possible with the trigger stops alone because you wouldn't be able to pull the triggers down fully, but with this software you can change the point at which the trigger reads full pull to be right at the point where the trigger lock stops you from pulling further. Alternatively, and actually at the same time, you can add some dead zone to the triggers so you don't say ADS or fire accidentally at the most inopportune times. I gotta say, that's pretty well thought out. Next on the list, you can change the vibration of each individual motor in the controller. There's one in each grip and one in each trigger. Many high-level players actually like to completely turn this off, and you have to do so usually per game, but they like to do it so that they don't have anything possibly affecting their shot. Others like to have all the feedback or some rumble feedback for both immersion or to inform them when they are, say, taking damage in a shooter or losing grip in a driving game. With the Elite controller in the software, you have the ability to completely turn off the vibration for all games using a particular configuration. Or again, you can have one of your onboard slots with vibration on or vibration off and switch between them without having to dig through menus. The last thing you can do is actually change the brightness of the LED in the Xbox button. This has never really been anything I've considered doing. Perhaps it can help you save some battery life. Let me know if you can think of any other uses for it. It seems like it was a pretty easy change for them to make, and it gives people who might want to do it the option to, so kudos there. Now hopping into Windows 10, downloading the Xbox Accessories app is really easy. It actually looks like it's pretty much the exact same app, which makes sense considering Microsoft's move towards having sort of a converged Windows 10 across PC, Xbox, and mobile devices. Once you're in the app and have your controller synced up, it will pull down your saved configurations from the cloud, just like on Xbox One, let you modify them and set them to your onboard slots. And since they're on board, you can actually use them with any system that you hook the controller up to. So one thing I've noticed a lot of people saying has substantially devalued the Elite controller is the fact that you can now remap buttons on a standard controller on the Xbox One. This may be true if your main interest in the Elite controller was simply remapping, but there are quite a few differences and caveats. Syncing up my Master Chief themed updated standard Xbox One controller, hopping into the Xbox Accessories app, you can see it's quite sparse in its features in comparison to those of the Xbox One Elite controller. You can remap the buttons, but it's the swap style remapping where you can't remap the same button to multiple places. And of course, you don't have the paddles on the controller. You can still swap the thumbsticks, triggers, and invert the Y-axis on the standard controller, but it lacks the stick sensitivity, trigger sensitivity, vibration, and button brightness controls that you get with the Elite. You only get one configuration, which is stored locally on your Xbox and not syncable to other consoles, so you can't hot swap between profiles or get access to profiles created by developers or have them when you're playing on a different system. On top of this, the remapping of the inputs isn't taking place on the controller, but rather in software on your system, which can possibly be subject to introducing some lag. So taking all of that into consideration, how does the customization of the Xbox One Elite controller stack up? I gotta say it's pretty substantial and impressive. It lacks some of the sheer expansive customization of the Steam controller, but in the way that can be considered kind of good. One problem I had with the Steam controller is that I felt like I couldn't easily grasp all the different permutations available with the controller through my own exploration, and even after looking on Reddit. The customization here is tuned very well for its specific users, the majority of which are on console or playing gamepad capable games on PC. Overall, I'm really happy with the software. It's clean, straightforward, not buggy. The features are pretty good to help you really reach your potential in a lot of games in different modes and different situations. I would like to see some features added, like the ability to upload and share your configs with friends and the community at large. If they had kind of a hub and allowed you to upvote or downvote different profiles and see the number of downloads it has, it would make it even easier to find your optimal setup and get back to gaming and not playing with the controller. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a little bit about the customization of this controller. Let me know what you think of the controller and the video down in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe if you already haven't for more videos like this in the future. Be sure to follow me on your favorite social media site. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Got it!